joint. See if I could. What I'm trying to do is look at the shit from right here. Get out. Got it. Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, still hear you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so we let them.
Yeah, you really hear like, especially that you saying from the mic. It sounds like I'm right there and you speaking directly from the mic, so I can hear the
Oh,
mic
word?
and everything. Yeah, clear from the mic and everything. Yeah,
Shit,
I
man,
could
clear
tell us.
over there.
Yeah, I could tell us from a mic too.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, so what? Let me see. I'm trying to look at this stuff now. See what we had going on here. So I don't even need to put this on. This is just. Yo, you hear me still?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure because I had something connected. Make sure that we can still hear each other and stuff. All right, so we look good right now then. Hold on, let me see if you can hear this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
You hear that?
I hear that shit clear money. That shit, like I'm right there, like I'm right on the headphones with you. So that's dope.
Okay, we lit then, man. We got that.
Yeah.
So we really on here then, huh?
Yeah.
We are live for real, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so how you guys doing? Me, Roman Raves, Danny Smooth, you already know. We back at it again. Sports Talk Radio MMA stuff. And we got a lot of news. We haven't been able to really come together for a while to get this podcast thing going on, simultaneously. But we back at it, and now we got the video shaking and baking. So it's just gonna get better and better from here, man.
Sure.
Now you were telling me, like, you sent me some email. I know the fans definitely want to hear about this, and I want to hear about it because I haven't gotten the time to go ahead and look into it. That especially, Liz Carmouche being, a military, military veteran, I definitely want to hear what's going on with her. I know she got, well, I'm gonna let you take it from there because I don't really got too much information on it right now. What's going on?
So what happened is they cut her from the UFC. She's lost her last 2 fights.
Yeah.
And then out of the 4, like the 6, she won like 2 of them. So basically she was like 2 of 6 or something in the UFC. But what happened is that she was doing like some PR for them for free. So she left her day job, like took a day off, a couple of days off from her day job, paid job to go out of pocket and fly out and do some PR work for like this veterans place to go check them out and stuff.
Okay.
They kind of meet up with her and talk with her and everything. And while she was in the mix of doing everything for the vets and everything, they kind of honored her and all that there. The UFC, while she was doing that, cut her.
Up.
And they didn't tell her while she was there. So she was already fired from the UFC and was working for free. And nobody told her until literally like when she was midway through already with, doing the PR stuff and everything. So she kind of felt like she was pissed about it because, you know what I mean? She's like, yo, us as fighters, we don't get paid enough anyway from the UFC already. And I took a day out of my free time, like out of my work day, like my paid day to go and do some free PR stuff. And then they let me go.
So that free PR, not to cut you off, that free PR stuff was for the UFC. I know it was for veterans because she's a veteran, but it was for the UFC.
It was for the UFC as well in support. They wanted her to do that because she was a vet and stuff, and they were going out there to kind of like promote and all that and do that stuff and show her love. But at the same time, like that's why she kind of felt it was kind of messed up because she's in the middle of doing all this stuff. They're honoring her, they're doing a whole bunch of things. She's supporting the UFC, talking about it. And they cut her and fired her.
So wait a minute. She finds out while she's at the veteran thing that she just got cut, probably by some veterans.
I think some of the people in the PR at the UFC over there like kind of told her later on, like right after, like a little bit after a while it was happening, like one of the execs was like, yo, they just cut you. Like, or somebody that she knows just got word that, yo, the UFC just let you go. So that kind of like took her like with a bitter taste. She was tight about that. And then she started mentioning like, you know, she
started
like,
spilling the tea. She started spilling some
yeah.
tea probably. So what she was talking about then?
She said she started saying about like the fighter pay and how that when you have advocates for sponsors that those sponsors that are part of the UFC pay only the UFC and not the fighter, and that you can't use your own UFC like your own sponsors. And then she mentioned that, you know, that she's actually been working as a day job while she fights and all that on the pay-per-views and everything. She don't really get paid like a lot for it. So
well,
she
we
actually
knew,
has a job.
you know, as far
And
as the sponsors, we knew since the UFC went ahead and signed with Reebok and made all the fighters go ahead and put on that Reebok uniform. We knew since then that they weren't really going to be making money off their sponsors anymore.
yeah, so she kind of said that, but her main thing was that she felt as though the UFC cut her because she's been knocking out contenders like new up and comers in that division and been beating them. Like she's been stopping them or winning, but she can never beat the champion. So it was like she sort of felt like, okay, to let her go is to now let these new breeds of talent go and try to win and go up there to. Liz Carmouche would beat him, and so now it was like at a standstill. It was like she was the bodyguard or the gatekeeper for the champion, and so anybody that would try to go and fight her would lose, and then she would fight the champ, but unfortunately lose. So they figured, you know, a smart move on their end was to release the person that everybody, all these new up and coming fighters are losing to, so we could promote this up and coming talent and eventually get them to, you know, fight for the belt. So that's what she was saying also, that, you know, that was kind of a play on why they did that also, because, you know, it was like almost a benefit for them. It was a game for them because she was actually winning the fights and stuff like that. So she kind of followed up. Mainly it was because she was a vet and she was out there in support of the UFC and all the troops and doing stuff for them. And to go out there and look like a fool after the vets and everything, like supported her and everything and did all this stuff with the UFC, then to go ahead and fire her. So she kind of felt really pissed off about that. Like, you know, like, that was kind of underhanded for them to just not tell her, make her fly all the way out there. She said, I could have been at home right now with my kid and my wife celebrating Christmas, saving up money to buy presents and stuff, and yet I went out of pocket to fly out here. Then it was also said that, which I didn't know about, that the UFC doesn't cover certain coaches' expenses for the fights and hotels.
Well, we knew, you know
Yeah.
how that goes. They're not covering everything, and especially after they cut you, they're definitely not going to be fitting the bill
Yeah.
for
So,
that. But you
so
know,
like,
it's
yeah.
not to cut you off. It's kind of like, you know, I love Liz Carmouche. She's you know, she's a Marine, so you know I got love for her.
Yeah.
Her record is 13-7. She lost to Shevchenko, and you know, in that fight, you know, honestly, in that fight versus Shevchenko, Shevchenko was a champion, so I understood why Shevchenko wasn't really trying to go at Liz Carmouche, because Liz Carmouche is dangerous, and she was, you know, she was playing her cards right, and she's a champion, so she's able to go ahead and run away from the challenge if she needs to. You know, she's
Yeah.
able to get away and move around. It's the challenger's, you know, responsibility to go ahead and catch up with her. Liz
Yeah.
Carmouche really didn't play a good role in that last fight she had. Like, you know, I'm just playing devil's advocate. She didn't play a good role. I didn't like the way she fought Shevchenko, and she didn't really go after her like she was supposed to. Like, that was a championship fight. You know, whether, you know, it was basically a championship fight,
You
and she didn't go at Shevchenko like she should have, you know, and
you saw that
it's
she was
disappointing.
outclassed and outmatched, and Shevchenko was getting the better of her in all the exchanges, and then she just tried to do wrestling and got stuffed. And yeah, I saw that. I watched that fight too, and
I hated
it was
that
not.
fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, whether she was getting the best of her or not, you know, at the end of the day, I couldn't see if she was getting you know, she was a little bit over Carmouche, but she wasn't to the point where Carmouche couldn't just try to give it her all. She didn't give it her all. It didn't feel like she just was like trying to
Yeah.
stay away and not get too hurt or whatever. And obviously that's the name of the game, but like that's like a championship fight. You got to go in there and you got to give it all you got, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But Yeah, man, she's probably gonna do well in other promotions. She's a top name. She can go to Bellator and make a name over there. She can even go to the
Definitely,
PFL and do some
definitely.
stuff. And
She's gonna
so,
do her thing. I don't doubt she's gonna do it. You know, the UFC been cutting people left and right. You know, jobs
yeah,
are on the line, and you know, with all these, you know, not amateur, professional guys, but you know, the guys that are coming up through the
yeah,
Contender Series and all these other things, they got to make room, you know, and if you're not performing, you're out of there. You know, that's basically it. You are
yeah.
out of there. So everybody's job is on the line, and nobody knows it more than the fighters themselves that maybe are not performing to the best of their abilities. And
Hmm.
you just gotta. It's a performance combat sport. It's a performance, you know, business. You
At
have
the
to
end of the
perform.
day, at the end of the day, like you said, I kind of look at it like it's a numbers thing too. You know, at the end of the day for them, because
Right.
whether you're a fighter or not, you're an independent contractor, so you're doing business for yourself, and you got to put up those numbers, whether that's pay-per-view numbers, just record overall winning percentage and record, just excitement, just people wanting to watch you. And so I feel like the UFC kind of plays all of that into factor. Like, is Liz Carmouche really a draw? Yes, she can win fights against these high level people, against the champ she lost. But if she goes again and fights these other contenders, and the same thing happens again, it's not going to be something that people are gonna
You need
rave about
somebody.
because she
You
just
know,
already lost in that
what you
fashion.
just
So
said, I think hit it right on the money. Everybody, all the fighters have to understand that yes, this is a combat sport. You know, this is combat sports. Yes, you got to fight, and yes, they're trying to keep up with the rankings. Yes, they're trying to put the best fights out there, but also they have to put the most entertaining fights up there. This is an entertainment business. You know, talking about one of the guys that are speaking about entertainment, and I haven't seen all his interviews yet, but he was talking about how a lot of the fans don't really understand the entertainment portion. That was Colby Covington. He was
yeah,
talking how a lot of fans didn't really understand it, and he was saying he was, you know, venturing into the place where he was kind of saying like, some of the stuff that I'm doing is because of entertainment purposes and to bring in that to draw the fans to me, whether they like them or not. You know, and I think that's very important for a lot of the fighters, upcoming fighters, to understand that you definitely gotta have some entertainment. Like let's look at a guy like Leon Edwards. He's a pretty good fighter. He's beating a lot of the top guys, and you know, he got overlooked because they say that he basically a lot of the fans and, you
fans,
know, on
yeah,
the media press say that he's really not that interesting of a person. I mean, this is
yeah,
a combat sport. We should be looking at how good the fighters are, not how interesting they are to a
yeah,
certain extent. You know,
yeah,
what do you
yeah,
think?
yeah. No, no, I completely agree. You know, on Kobe, I have a little mixed views with Kobe, but again, I understand where he's coming from in that standpoint where it is entertainment. You know, you have to sell it. Kobe's not wrong on that, where you know he's doing this for the entertainment purposes, but I feel like also it comes to a certain limit of as to what you say. But yeah, in terms of the entertainment portion of it, to be honest with you, not only am I, you know, me being a fighter, but at the same time I'm a fan. So when I look at certain fights, if I see a guy that I've known for a while and I know based off of their history how they are, I'm gonna watch that fight because they're appealing to me. But then there's gonna be fights where I want to see the entertainment portion of it. I want to see, you know, guys saying stuff and get into it. You know, a guy like Cowboy, he doesn't need to talk much because he's entertaining already by him just accepting fights and going in there and just doing, you know, the badass shit that he does. You know what I mean? And you know, guys like that. You know, you look at Kobe, he just uses his words and he talks and everything like that. But you know, it's like you said, entertainment right now is what's selling. So you got to be able to brand yourself like, okay, I got to entertain and make a good money doing so. And then that's how it's all going to pop up. And I mean, look at a guy like Israel. I mean, you couldn't stand Israel Adesanya at all. I mean, but now you saw his fight, you saw him as entertaining, you saw what happened. And then you're like, okay, now this guy's a draw. He's going to do something now. So it was just, I completely agree with it. It's just a matter of that your fighting skills are what they're looking at, but at the same time, again, like you said, it's a business, it's entertainment. You know.
Now, talking, you go ahead. You went ahead and brung up that Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone. You know, I called this a while back before
Yeah,
they even said the fight matchup. When somebody matter of fact, when Gaethje beat Cowboy Cerrone, and they were
yeah,
looking for other contestants, and you know, I even called Justin Gaethje to be a top contender for the belt. But what I did say was when I said that, I said Justin Gaethje could be a top contender for the belt after he beats Cowboy Cerrone and after he beats one more person. I didn't say as soon as he beat Cowboy Cerrone, he should be a contender for the championship belt, I don't know. I don't know if Justin Gaethje heard what I said or he just was thinking that already, but he just jumped the gun and skipped over he got to fight one more. I don't know who it is, but he got to fight one more.
But again, that's another guy where if you think about it, he's a great fighter, but really, is he an entertainer? Can he get crowds and the fans to watch him? Yeah, he may have like the great fights that we see, but at the same time, he doesn't have great talking skills. He's really low monotone. He doesn't really speak a lot. But yeah, I feel like he needs one more fight. Cowboy is a top contender, yeah, but at the same time, most people look at Cowboy like he's a guy that, you're just going to go in there to fight and get some, good fights and get your name and notoriety up there. Now, Cowboy was moving in the ranks, don't get me wrong, but when you look at the lightweight division, it's stacked in there. So nobody's going to really look at Cowboy as the first, as an important contender in there because he's been moving divisions left and right. You're going to look at guys like Conor. You're going to look at Tony Ferguson. You're going to look at that lightweight division and go, okay, these are the guys. And even Dustin Poirier, a guy where he should fight Dustin, a guy that just came off a loss. Justin Gaethje just won. I mean, he beat him. They should do a rematch. Fight for that.
Let's not get Conor hurt right now. Okay, let's keep Conor safe for a potential super fight. But let me tell you, the way the order went is the way that I perceive things happening, and the way is kind of the way that's actually playing out. Like Dustin Poirier went ahead and fought Khabib. He lost.
Yeah.
I was rooting for Poirier, but he lost.
Yeah.
So in turn, when you go down the rankings, then you have Justin Gaethje fight Cerrone. That was a perfect matchup to go ahead and fight, and because Gaethje was coming up, he just beat Barboza. He just beat I think it was Kevin Lee before that, and he's beating a couple of people. And so that was the matchup. Then after that, it was like, who's left to fight? The Khabib and the Ferguson fight was been trying to happen for the longest. So already know they were trying to make that happen again. So they got
five times. The fifth time.
5 times. You know what I mean? It's like a million times they're trying to get this thing to happen. It's finally going to happen, hopefully, So Ferguson and Khabib now. Okay, so now who you got left? Now, Poirier just lost, so it doesn't make sense to put Poirier up against one of these guys right now. Maybe
he
next.
He beat Gaethje, so that wouldn't make sense either.
Well, to a certain extent, it doesn't, and it does at the same time, because right now when Cowboy Cerrone fights McGregor, which is still, for some reason, is still his name in the hat because of the entertainment purposes. He's definitely in the hat. So Cowboy Cerrone and McGregor, so they're about to fight. To me, to a certain extent, like, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm a Cowboy fan. I like the guy. I really do. I like his fighting style. What Gaethje did to him just recently, straight punishment. What Ferguson did to him before that, punishment, super punishment. I don't care if he blew his nose out or not. He was getting punished. And at the end of the day, like, this is an easy fight for Conor. Honestly, it's gonna be an easy fight for Conor McGregor. If Cowboy Cerrone beats him, then cool. Cowboy Cerrone beats him, and then he moves on to another fight. I don't know who he's gonna fight. Dustin Poirier, maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't put him up against Dustin.
See, but at that point, with that, in terms of that, everyone is rooting for like Conor to just run through Cowboy, and a lot of most people forget Cowboy has great jiu-jitsu. He's a great striker and everything. He's good with it. But if he does lose to Cowboy, that'll be 2 losses. Actually, yeah, it'll be 2 losses in a row.
Oh, yeah, so I probably would be counting McGregor out if he loses to Cowboy. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Cowboy, I said it the last time when Cowboy fought Justin Gaethje, Cowboy usually loses to big names. Most of the big names, like if you go on his fight, his fight record and go see all the big names he's fought. And I said this when he fought Gaethje. He loses to most of the big names. He always loses to the big names. He beat a couple of guys, and then there's too many guys that he's lost to that's big names. When it's time, like crunch time for the big names, he usually doesn't. He He doesn't have the chops for it.
But the reason I say this moment might be different because he's been calling out Conor for a while. So he's been wanting to go at Conor for a long time. So I think with this one, it's going to be like, okay, I got a guy now that I wanted, that I know is going to be a tough fight. So I'm going to bust my ass and shut everybody up. With these other fights, it was just like, hey, Cowboy, you have a good fight for Justin. You have an opportunity to bump up in the ranks. He's like, all right, hell yeah, I'm trying to get this belt. But now, every time he won those fights, you kept hearing him say, I'll fight Conor. I'll fight Conor. So I think he's been really focusing and eyeing his attention more towards getting this fight. And now that it's here, because it's been in the making for about a year or so, and now that it's here, he's probably going to be ready to show up at that point. But again,
let me tell you this:
Conor's no slouch. So.
If Conor lets me fight him, I'll fight Conor. You know why? Because it's a money fight. Everybody wants to fight Conor McGregor, regardless where he goes, who he fights. The money's there. He's gonna draw the fans. There's a huge following of Conor McGregor. Everybody wants to see the return of Conor McGregor and see him go ahead and face off for the belt. Everybody wants to see Conor McGregor win the belt again. They want to see it. Or not everybody, but all of his fans, and he has a lot of them. You know, Conor McGregor is one of the I'm not sure if he is the most or he's one of the most paid UFC fighters, ever. It's not even like now. It's not even like this time frame. It's just like ever. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to fight Conor for the money. So definitely Cerrone will fight Conor for the money. Anybody would. Cerrone, man. I like Cerrone too, man, but I don't think he's gonna be. The truth is, Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje have softened Cerrone up for Conor McGregor. So if he had it in him to beat Conor McGregor already after the fights of Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje, I don't think he got it in him to beat Conor McGregor.
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see. That's for January because we got these other fights right now coming up this week. But yeah, we'll see for sure. But it is finally happening. I'm glad, and we're gonna definitely see with that fight. Like I said, no matter what, you know me, I'm a diehard Cowboy fan. I'm a Cowboy Cerrone fan. So I'm going to root for him no matter who he's fighting. He could fight a fucking tin can, and I'll root for a Cowboy. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, McGregor doesn't get any points from me for fighting Cowboy Cerrone. You don't get no points for that for me. You got to fight somebody real. You got to fight somebody that's hasn't been losing that much. And, you really got to fight somebody else. So, Conor, you're going to have to fight somebody like Dustin Poirier or Justin Gaethje to get my respect back. It's not going to be so easy. You're not just going to get it if you beat Cerrone. That's not going to happen. And I don't think you should get a championship fight after you beat Cerrone. I don't think that's championship worthiness.
And their fights at 170 too. So you figure it's kind of weird how they're playing this all out. They're going to fight at welterweight, but yet it's kind of like they're ranking it as sort of a lightweight contention. So it's just UFC's all over the place.
Oh yeah, lightweight. Yeah, you're right, lightweight.
Lightweight's 155, and then they're fighting at welterweight, which is 170. So it's kind of like a little off with that. It's weird.
It is weird. That is very weird. That's the only thing you could call it. That's weird.
Yeah.
But hopefully Justin Gaethje goes ahead and gets a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Dustin Poirier back in there fighting somebody else. If it's between them two, all the best to both of them. It's definitely, the next fight is going to be the names in the hat are Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and the winner out of, I don't know if they even give Cerrone another shot at it, but maybe they will. But if Cerrone wins, it'll be those three. And if Conor wins, it'll be those three guys' name in the hat.
Yep, that's true.
Moving on to this fight right here. We got 3 championship title matches coming up this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
We got Usman versus Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. We got Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski. And we got Amanda Nunes versus Jermaine Randamie. Right?
The Randamie. Yeah. Those are some good fights, I'm telling you.
It's gonna be title. And then underneath that, you got Aldo versus Moraes.
You got who is it there? The immortal Matt what's his name? Shit,
Uriah Faber versus Peter Yan.
That's one of your guys that you like, Peter Yan.
You know what? I like both of those guys, actually. I like both of them.
Yeah. You got Gary Neal and Mike Perry, Mike Perry's just he's a trip.
You know, I love
Mike Perry
Mike
was
Perry, man. I love Mike Perry. He just, he just got his nose busted up real bad the last time, and he's
yeah.
looking brand new again. So hopefully he does his thing in there.
You got the immortal Matt Brown versus Ben Saunders. So some old school cats still in there doing their thing. They're about to go slug it out against each other too. So that's a good fight for cats like me who used to watch Matt Brown and Ben Saunders back in the days. You know, they're gonna have
Oh,
a little.
Ben Saunders. Okay, yeah, I know that name.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
definitely in the hat. Yeah, a couple of guys fought him and didn't win. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely Ben Saunders.
The immortal Matt Brown too. He's a good one. He's a guy that everybody like talks about because he came from he almost, I think he almost died over like some drug overdoses and stuff. That's why he called himself the immortal, because he actually died, they said, and they like came back to life. It was crazy, his story. But
Oh wow.
he's he's gonna be fighting too, and I like watching Matt Brown do his thing. So he's getting up there in age, and I think his career's winding down soon, but he's still entertaining to fucking watch. So
Definitely, definitely. So it's all taking place down at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's
yep.
gonna be spectacular. You know what? Man, I have so much to say about this fight between Kamaru Usman and Colby Chaos Covington. What before I go ahead on my little rave about this, what do you think about that fight? How did these two guys match up, and who you see taking it?
Stylistically, they match up evenly. Wrestling pedigree. So it's either gonna be two things. It's gonna be a straight stand-up fight, or both guys are gonna be trying to take each other down or stuff each other's takedowns. More than likely, it's gonna be a stand-up. I feel on the striking side of it, we saw Colby with a little bit of a little bit of striking going on when he fought Robbie, and people were impressed by it. But to me, I think Usman, just a little bit more polished in terms of the striking aspect of it and just wrestling wise. So I think Usman will hold on to that belt and, do his damage and stuff like that. Colby, after a while, I believe he's going to see the striking difference and then go ahead and be like, oh yeah, let me just try to take this guy down. And then when that doesn't work, now you have Usman is going to go in and try to do what he does best. But like I said, no, don't want to take anything away from Colby's striking recently. It's just, I haven't seen anything efficient yet in his last fights. Everything's been wrestling and sort of takedowns. But I'm still going with Usman. I just feel like he has everything now well rounded and polished. He works with a bunch of guys like Rashad and people of that nature. So for sure, I think he's just gonna go and he's the Nigerian Nightmare, man. I mean.
We definitely on different sides of the coin for this one. I know Kamaru Usman, he's most well known in MMA for wrestling. He's a former NCAA All-American Division II wrestler. Oh man, he's got a lot going for him. What can I say about Kamaru Usman, man? It's like he has a lot of, his pressure, his power is I know he has a lot of pressure for the simple fact that a lot of guys aren't trying to go inside with Kamaru Usman. I'm not sure, why. Maybe it's the power of the punches, because I haven't seen Kamaru Usman knock anybody out recently, but it says a lot when, guys that normally come in to knock people out are not coming in on you. It speaks volumes. Guys kind of like, steering away from coming in on Kamaru Usman, and he has to have something that's making them do that, backing them down. He turns around and gives constant pressure all the time, puts you up on that side of the gate on the octagon, and it's like, you're not going anywhere. You're done. He's draining the life out of you, and his wrestling is above reproach. Now, with that being said, these guys are like so evenly matched up. Colby Covington is also a great wrestler. Both of these guys have the same record right now, 15-1. They both only have one loss. The funny thing about the losses is that Kamaru Usman has lost to the only person that has beaten Colby Covington, and Colby Covington has lost to the only person that has beaten Kamaru Usman. So it's that's how close in stats and in fighting, everything they are. They're both wrestlers, huge wrestlers. But what I do like about Colby Covington, especially, aside from all the trash talking he does, aside from everything else, if you don't like Colby Covington because of whatever he says, whatever he does, you gotta like Colby Covington for his fighting style. He comes at you relentlessly with a barrage of punches all the time, and then he mixes it up. He has one of the best mix-up games I've seen in a long time. He mixes it up, wrestles with you, puts you up on that gate, and then when he's done with that, he goes ahead and lets you go, and he just continuously pummels you with those punches, and he throws them little light kicks and all that, but he never stops touching you. Like, from the moment that the bell rings throughout every single round, he is on you. He is on top of you. And I don't think that Kamaru Usman likes that type of fight. I don't think he does. I don't think he's gonna like that. And the way Colby Covington switches it up is just deadly, man. He's just all over you, man. Look what he did to Robbie Lawler. Who would have thought he'd do that to Robbie Lawler? Now, mind you, Robbie Lawler is American Top Team. So they both at some point might have sparred with each other. Who else? Jorge Masvidal. At some point, you already know they sparred with each other. You already know from them being together most of the time and things like that. I know it's been a while, but regardless if it's been a while or not, you've been training with each other. You've been talking, everything like that. You know, look at how well Jorge Masvidal is doing right now. It's kind of funny how well Colby Covington is also doing right now. Like, it's like they're both coming up. They're both doing what they got to do, and they're both performances are spectacular. Now, Colby Covington, man, I can't deny Colby Covington with none of his performances that he put up. Who else he just recently beat? It was Robbie Lawler. Before that, sometime he beat Damian Maia. He really did some damage to Damian Maia. And people didn't think he was going to do that with Damian Maia. A lot of people haven't defeated Damian Maia the way Colby Covington defeated Damian Maia. He really put the beats on him. He left Damian Maia bloody. And he was wrestling with him. So it wasn't like it was just like a one-sided, he was just punching. He was wrestling with Damian Maia, which is considered to be, after beating Ben Askren, even before that, one of the best grapplers in the MMA and UFC, you know? Mm-hmm. So he beat him. Who did he just recently beat? It was Robbie Lawler, and then
he beat before that, I think Damian. Then before that, it was Rafael dos Anjos. He beat
Dos Anjos. Was Robbie Lawler his last match?
Yeah, Robbie was his last fight that he just had.
I could have sworn he fought someone else. I know he got at Robbie Lawler. I could have sworn he fought one more person before Robbie Lawler. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I forgot who, but I think it was Damian or somebody else. But yeah, Robbie was his last fight just recently.
Definitely. But what he did to Damian Maia, Robbie Lawler, and whoever the last guy was, he put on a spectacular performance, man. And for me, I think that's gonna be the deciding factor of making him come over and beat Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything you're saying is true on that aspect. But I've seen Usman's fights, and there have been fights too where he does the same thing, puts that relentless pressure. So that's why I think it's gonna be just a battle of wills for these two guys. Who's gonna want it more in the fight? Who's gonna, try to take the other person's head off? It's gonna probably be a knockout contest, because at the end of the day, both these guys wrestling is just phenomenal. So they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna have to keep this thing standing and just go for blows. So one of them is gonna either end in a finish or knockout. Somebody's gonna take the guy down, ground the pound. It's just gonna be a crazy mix up. And if it does go to the ground, then that's gonna be a great fight to see. What I fear is that it might end up being a wrestling match. And I don't want to see that, obviously, because, again, these guys are contenders and fighters. But you play to your strengths for a lot of fights. So whatever your strengths are, you're going to play to it. So we'll see. But these both guys are heavy hitters. But, like I said, I'll go with Usman for this, just because, like I said, I've watched his fights, and I've seen his wrestling pedigree and the guys he worked with and trained with. So we'll see.
Definitely. That's going to be an amazing fight right there. Oh man, the pressure, the power, that's what's gonna, Kamaru Usman has been talking about. He has a good striking game. And he usually, he says he's tried to show it like the last fight, and he's been trying to show it a little bit more. He's definitely gonna have to show it versus Colby Covington, because Colby Covington is gonna wrestle. And obviously, you know, Kamaru Usman is going to wrestle. He said it in a couple of his interviews that regardless of what, yes, he wants to put on a good show for the fans and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the main thing he's worried about is the W, the win. And if he has to wrestle to get the win, that's what he's going to do. And I don't blame him. If that's what you're good at, go ahead and wrestle your life away. You know, I don't mind it. But I guarantee you, you know, the way Colby Covington has been fighting, he's been mixing it up from wrestling to striking, back to wrestling, back to striking. So at the end of the day, Kamaru Usman, unless he's able to keep Colby Covington pinned down, submit him some type of way, or just, you know, ground and pound him out, unless he's able to do something like that, if it continues on, you know, round by round, and they're doing more than just wrestling, he's going to have to really show his striking game because Colby Covington is not going to let up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. For sure, for sure.
Now, what about
wait.
this? Yeah, I can't wait either, man. What about this? Now, what about this Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski fight?
I like Alexander Volkanovski. Guy's very tough. I mean, for what he did to Jose Aldo, everybody was shocked at how he made Jose Aldo look. Nobody, you know, from what I've seen when Aldo fought people, no one's ever made him do that, like made him look like that. You know, obviously the 13-second knockout or whatever with Connor or whatever it was, but I'm talking about in terms of striking and going full rounds with Jose to use the leg kicks and do that. It was impressive, but I'm always going with Max Holloway. He's blessed, man. Bless Holloway. He's just a phenomenal athlete, man. Got a long range punches. He's a volume puncher. So what most people don't understand is with volume punching, after a while, that damage accumulates. He did it against Brian Ortega. He did it against Jose. You know, he tried to do it against Dustin, but obviously, you know, Dustin was a bigger man. But in his division, 145, he did it with Frankie Edgar when most people thought Frankie was going to run through him with speed. He used those volume of punches that he does. So he's a volume guy. That means that he'll relentlessly keep throwing and throwing and throwing, you know, and he'll take some stuff. He'll move. He'll weave. He has a longer reach than Volkanovski. Now, you know, Volkanovski has his power, but I honestly think just Max Holloway's been doing it, and this guy's on like a 13, 14 fight win streak. He hasn't lost. You know, besides the Dustin Poirier fight in the featherweight division, he hasn't lost. He's wiped out that division. So yeah, I just love Holloway. His talent is phenomenal. Like I said, volume punches and people that do that. I mean, I'm one of those guys when I do my fights and things where I like to throw a lot of volume. I'm a volume puncher, but and that plays into effect with a lot of guys. So every time I watch Holloway fight, is just entertaining because he's calling around that he's going to finish it, and he's going and he's throwing a lot of punches and volume, and then eventually just wears the guy out and beats him. So I'm definitely going to go with Holloway with this.
I like Holloway too. I like Volkanovski too, man. You know what I noticed about Volkanovski? He's really hungry. I could tell he's hungry. Everything he says, everything he does. You see the training. He's very hungry. Now, obviously, Max Holloway, his last fight was up against Dustin Poirier. And, didn't he beat?
It was Frankie Edgar.
Oh, Frankie Edgar. Yeah. I saw that Frankie Edgar one too. Yeah, you know, so he took that W. If you're betting against Max Holloway, it's not going to be a good bet for you. Even if you're betting against Alexander Volkanovski, it's not a good bet. Like, for me personally, this matchup right here, I'm going to love to watch, but I'm definitely not going to put my money on this fight because I can't tell who's going to win this one.
Yeah. That's the truth. I mean, I'm going with Holloway just because, like I said, he's a champ. But like you said, I like Volkanovski just as much. You know, he's a hungry guy. Like I said, what he did to Aldo, nobody in their minds I've ever seen in the UFC and even in MMA when Aldo fought someone, no one's ever done that to Aldo. Use his leg kicks on him, use his punches effectively, go at him like that aggressively, back him down. No one's ever done that. And so Volkanovski, that's showing Volkanovski wants it. He'll run through anybody to go through it. So it's going to be an entertaining fight. But Holloway's not a slouch either. You know, the guy's a champ for a reason. He's been a champ for, going on, 2 years now, and been running through guys and everybody in the division. I mean, if he beats Volkanovski now, I really think there's nobody left in that division for him to fight. I can't think of anybody at 145, you know, after he, you know, if he goes ahead and beats Volkanovski, I mean, there's really nobody else for him to go ahead and compete with. He may either have to bump up or someone's going to have to come up and fight him. at
I
145.
agree with you, but the only part I don't suggest for him, I don't think he should go up. I should think he should just stay there and stay dominant. And if he wants to try to fight somebody from a different weight class, he's better off going down. That weight class above him is nothing but killers, nothing but monsters. And Dustin Poirier went ahead and showed him what's inside that weight class waiting for him. And I don't think he wants to go in there.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I mean, for sure. But, again, Dustin Poirier is on another level. But, yeah, the lightweight division is stacked with a bunch of killers in there. But like I said, we'll see going into this fight because it is a hard one to call on that one, too.
What about this mystery fight? For me, it's a mystery fight. I have never seen Jermaine fight. I've never seen her fight before. So
she's had a couple of fights. I've seen her fight. Her first fight was like for the inaugural 145 belt when they first came out with it in the UFC, and she won. I think she fought Holly for that one, and she beat Holly for the belt. And she ended up holding the belt and then vacating it. She didn't want to defend it against Cyborg or whatever, so they stripped the belt from her in the title. And
was
then
she
Cyborg
scared of
ended up
Cyborg
claiming
or
it.
something? I mean,
I
a lot of people
don't
were
know.
scared of Cyborg, whether they said it or not.
Yeah,
Was she intimidated by Cyborg?
I mean, I think so, but I'm not even too sure exactly what the whole scenario situation was with that. But yeah, she didn't end up defending it, so they stripped her of it. And she's fought prior to this recently. She just fought recently, I think Jessica I or somebody. No, that's just someone else.
I seen a couple of people beat Jessica I already, so
Yeah.
that's not impressive.
The randomly just recently fought somebody, and honestly, that's how I know there probably wasn't irrelevant. She beat the girl, stopped her really quickly with I think a kick or some sort of punch. It was like a TKO. But again,
what I
that
seen
division,
about her though, what I seen,
yeah,
not to cut you off, what I seen about her was that she's not scared of Nunez though. She's not
no,
scared of her.
yeah. This is gonna be a stand-up fight. Clearly, they both love to stand and bang. The randomies like that. She's got a lot of power. She's long, got good reach. But honestly, Nunez just has something I think that the randomie doesn't have. She has all the tools, man, all the weapons. I mean, she dropped a girl like Cyborg down with a punch when nobody else thought that she would be able to. And
I did. I was rooting for her.
Yeah. And so, me too. I mean, I love Amanda Nunes. She's very, very talented. I'm going to go with Amanda on this. The randomie really hasn't fought, like you said, a lot of top contenders or people of importance for me to go ahead and say, well, she can do it. But again, this is the UFC. This is MMA. You never know what could happen. One punch and it could change the fate of something, But, I can't really go ahead and – I'm not going to root for somebody that haven't seen them fight a top contender. I mean, I've seen them fight Holly Holm when it first started. But other than that, she's been fighting people that I've not even heard of, names that I haven't heard of and contenders. And that's not to say that she's not talented. It's just, to me, it's like you said, it's not the quantity of fighters, it's the quality. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who you're fighting, who's the top guy, who's the person, top girl or guy that is going to, pose a threat and make you want to challenge for that belt. And I think since that division is so scarce and there's not a lot of people in that division, more so than not a lot of well-known names, the randomie was just the next one in line to go ahead and fight for the belt because, with Cyborg gone after she just lost to Nunez, with Cyborg gone now from the UFC, I mean, there's really nobody else in there that can go ahead and fight. So, I mean, if they don't find another person and if the randomie doesn't shake it up or potentially wins this fight, what I think potentially might happen is they might just close out that 145 division and just keep it back to 135. I mean, but again, that's just me saying that. But we'll see. But again, yeah, I'm going with Nunez on this fight.
I don't blame you. Now, last fight that I want to touch on, if you want to touch on anything else, Peter Yan versus Uriah Faber. Now, Uriah Faber, I was rooting for him his last fight where he got that win. I definitely was loving what he was doing in there. And Peter Yan, I've been rooting for Peter Yan for a while because he's just been destroying cats. How do you see that one playing out?
I like Uriah. Uriah's great. I was watching when he was in his WEC days, and he was the poster child for that, the California kid. But Yan's just a savage. He's younger. Uriah, he retired, and I think it was smart of him to go ahead and retire. I know he came back, he fought a guy, a top guy. Everybody thought, yeah, he was gonna lose, and he ended up beating him. But I mean, these guys now, there's a bunch of killers in that division, and Yan's just one of those guys that are just trying to run through people. And I don't really think Uriah is going to be able to go ahead and finish him or do what it takes to beat him. But again, you never know. It is Uriah Faber. I like Yan though. Yan's one of the guys I'm really rooting for. I definitely want to keep seeing him win and keep doing, him keep doing what he's doing. But again, like I said, I don't see anything. Uriah doesn't really impress me with a lot of his stuff, and he looks the same. So,
listen, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth. He beat Ricky Simon. Ricky Simon was looking stellar. And to be honest with you, I didn't think he was going to beat Ricky Simon, but I was still rooting for him. And I hoped he won. And he did win. And he beat Ricky Simon pretty good. I don't know, man. I like Peter Yang. He beat John Dodson. He beat Jimmy Rivera. Ricky Simon, for me, is kind of better than those two guys. I like to weigh guys up. Like you said, I like to weigh them up against the quality of fighter they fought last. Uriah Faber comes out of nowhere, out of retirement, out of nowhere. He still has tons of fans. You've seen how the stadium just went crazy for Uriah Faber, and everybody was still loving him. And he went ahead and performed like he never retired. It's a surprise. It was a surprise to me, but actually it was like a treat. Like, I'm glad. Like, I think he's 40 years old now.
I think he's like 39, 40, something like 38, around there. So he's in his 30s, late 30s, getting up there, 40 or something like that.
Yeah, so to me, it was kind of interesting. I like that he came out of nowhere and he really put the works on Ricky Simon. I still like Ricky Simon. He's one of my boys. He was doing his thing. He was on a good streak. I know he's going to come back and do his thing again, too. Peter Yan, this is going to be a great fight, too, man. And, oh, man, definitely going to be a great fight.
Well, yeah, you also forgot a sleeper. So you forgot that Jose's fighting Marlon Moraes at 135 now.
Yeah, I knew I forgot something. I'm going to go ahead and give a special mention to my boy, Ian Heinisch. I like him, man.
Yeah, he's fighting too. Ian Heinisch is a good guy. I went through a lot too. I heard his story. His backstory is also crazy too with Ian Heinisch. But yeah, he's a great guy too. I like Ian. He's a dope fighter.
You just reminded me. I forgot about his backstory. I was just thinking about his fight. I forgot all about his backstory. Yes, his backstory is crazy. I forgot all about that. Wow.
Yeah. He's a great guy. Good talent. That guy's real nice guy too, but just a savage in there too with his fights. So
Definitely.
It's gonna be good to watch Ian too do his thing. But yeah, Jose jumping down, going down to 135. Now a lot of people, there was a lot of like mixed reactions.
What's going on with that?
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed reactions with how he looked, his weight cut. You had Darren Till, who kind of said that he looked sick, that he didn't look right for him, that he needed to go back up. Then you had Conor McGregor.
Listen, as far as how he looked, I saw the picture. He was shredded. He looked clean, looked strong.
Yeah, so Conor actually wrote back to Darren and was like, no, you're wrong. He looks like he's healthy. He's in the best shape. This was the perfect time for him to cut, and he did the right cut at the right time, and he timed it ahead of time. So he looked good, but there's still a lot of other people who, seeing him when he was signing posters and stuff and saying that, they don't know if, that was a good move on Aldo. It may make him weak. It may make him frail. His body might not move. But Jose's been doing this for a long time, and not once has Jose ever, had a problem with in terms of, his stamina, movement, and everything, and weight. And so I just feel like maybe he felt like a lot of the guys now, 145 are a lot bigger, heavier guys, longer guys, and 135 is just a lot smaller guys around his pace and what he could do. So, why not go up? I mean, the guy's going to balloon back up probably anyway to around 155 again, or 140, or wherever he goes up to on the normal end. But, yeah, I think it was, that people were talking about it. But he's finding a tough guy like Marlon. So we'll see how that one plays out too, because that's a fight everybody, was loving, was talking about and thinking about, and now it's coming true. So that's going to be a beautiful fight that everybody's going to want to see, for sure.
Now, I was trying to look up the rankings just now. I wasn't able to pull it up. That's so weird because, like you said, Aldo's not even in that. That's not even his weight class, and Marlon Moraes is the #1 contender in that. Oh, you know what? That's who's on top in that weight class. Henry Cejudo. Henry
Yeah,
Cejudo's in that weight class. So you got you got Jose Aldo that's coming from a whole different weight class, coming down just to fight the #1 contender of that weight class. And what if he beats Marlon Moraes? What's he gonna do? He's gonna go ahead and fight Henry Cejudo?
I mean, if at 135, that could potentially be a case for that. It all depends. If he does phenomenal and they think, okay, he's worthy. I mean, Jose look at his resume speaks for itself. I mean, why wouldn't you want to put a guy like that against Henry Cejudo? That'd be a great matchup to see. I would love to see Henry Cejudo fight Jose Aldo. I mean,
Definitely.
who wouldn't want to see that fight? You know, yeah, and Henry. I mean, Henry has Benavidez to worry about for 125. So I think they're gonna really not gonna do a 135 fight
You
with
think
Jose.
he's gonna really be
Now,
worried about Benavidez?
I mean, they want him to defend that belt. They said it, defend the flyweight title, and he said he wants to be a guy that defends both titles. So we'll see, sort of like Nunez. So we'll see. I think he's gonna focus on that first, and then they'll probably, if Jose does great in this fight and ends up beating Moraes maybe in a dominant fashion, or just beats him, they may pay potential saying, okay, I'll fight Cejudo, or Cejudo may come out himself and be, hey, I'll fight Jose Aldo. He just beat Marlon Moraes, and I beat Moraes, so let me go ahead and beat Aldo. Mr. Champ, or Champ that he likes to say, Triple Champ, whatever he likes to call himself, Triple C. But yeah, I mean, so that's a great move on Aldo's part. It's great move on his part. I mean, he realizes that featherweight division, he no longer is, the champ there, the king up there, but now he can go and try to run through people at another smaller division. And if he does great, people are now not going to look at the weight cut was bad. They're just going to be like, okay, here's Jose doing his thing, So.
Yeah, man, this is where the entertainment portion comes into it. Guys like Aldo that are still in it. Guys like Uriah Faber coming out the blue. Guys like Max Holloway going to different divisions trying to do what he does. All these guys they're coming out, McGregor coming out of the, blue sky, coming to fight, trying to get back in the run-ins with it. It's just that's why, I could understand a little bit. I could understand why, MMA is not so clean cut like other sports with the rankings. I could understand it because of that. Because you would like to do all the rankings maybe like boxing. You would like to have the guys fight each guy that's right underneath the rankings, things like that in order. But in this, in boxing, you don't switch weight classes as often as you would see somebody try to do in MMA. To try to get a belt somewhere else. So you can't really, rank these guys the same way. It has to be a little bit about entertainment purposes too, I think.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, it's who people want to see fight at that time. I mean, if Jose Aldo was fighting some scrub at 135 right now, we wouldn't really be talking about this fight. We'd be like, right. Jose Aldo fighting somebody, probably going to run through this guy. But he decided to fight a top contender. And, they wanted to do the fight. And so they said, go ahead and do it. So why not, Definitely. And that's what it's about. If every fighter, picking the battles and who they're going to fight. And it's, like you said, entertainment portion of it. So it's going to be an interesting card. I'm hyped about it. I've been waiting for this card since they announced it. So this card, January's card, is going to be great. So we're looking at a couple good pay-per-views coming up soon.
Definitely. This is the card that closes off the year, correct?
Yeah, this is the final card of the year, and then in January is the new card of 2020. So we start off the year with some good bangers too.
Listen, 2019 has been a great year for MMA, especially in
crazy
the UFC.
year too. Surprising year, but a lot of knockouts, a lot of change of titles, like Wally Zhang. Then prior to Wally Zhang, Jessica Andrade beat Thug Rose, and then after Jessica Andrade won, I called it and said she was only going to have that title once, and then once Wally Zhang was going to fight, Wally Zhang reigned through her. Now Wally's a champ, and now they're looking at maybe having Wally and actually, no, I think it's confirmed. Wally
and
right? Joanna's going to fight now, so that's going to be a freaking great fight. I want to see that. That's going to be amazing.
It's been a great fight. They had we had John Jones fight this year versus Thiago. Yeah. That was an awesome.
We fought actually multiple times this year. So we fought about three times this year.
Oh, Jones?
We got I think he fought like 2 times. Yeah, he fought. Remember, he fought within this year. He fought.
He fought
Anthony
the tall
Smith.
guy.
Fought Anthony Smith. Then he fought
3
Gustafson.
times.
Yeah, he fought 3 times in a year.
He
So
fought
he's been active.
too.
Yeah, he fought Gustafson right after he fought Anthony Smith, and then he just recently fought. God, we just recently fought. He's in Thiago. Yep, and then which was a very good fight. And now he's starting off the new year with another fight. So
yeah, he's staying active. That's awesome.
That was good. We saw my boy Cowboy just destroying cats left and right, saying that he's back, and just I started watching him beat the dog piss out of everybody.
Yeah, Cowboy did his thing early on this year. You know, we'll see what he does this weekend to finish up the year. Maybe he could turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, after going through he had a 4 or 5 fight win streak, and then he just lost these last 2, and 2 or 3. It was like 2 of them. Yeah, he lost his last 2.
If you look at his record, that's how he wins and loses too. It's like he wins a couple, he loses a couple. He's always active fighting anyway. So I guess it's nothing for him.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. But it's gonna be great. I mean, I can't wait to see what's gonna be in store next. Colby Covington just said that he doesn't want Dana White to put the belt around him at the end of the fight, and if he does, then he's gonna smack the shit out of him. And Dana White,
he's staying at Trump Towers right now, right?
Yeah, I know. And then Dana White responded. With, "We'll see him do that. Let's see him try it. Let's see him try and do something like that." So Colby's just all over the place with that, but it's gonna be a good. Yeah, it's gonna be some good fights.
Definitely. It's been a great year. Look at that. We started off the year with doing the MMA, this MMA journey. We're closing it out together too. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
One thing for guys to look out for, and don't forget, the little brother of UFC is fighting to really, really close out the year with a bang the day before New Year's for New Year's Eve. That's the PFL, and I forgot the girl's name, but she's a tank. She's a tank. And
I know
definitely gonna love watching, seeing her. If you guys don't know about PFL, you need to go ahead and tune in.
$1 million grand prize, and you're the champion of that division for that year. So.
UFC is amazing. I love UFC. Since this is the last fight we'll be watching on Saturday, I'm definitely gonna be tuning into PFL. At each winner for each weight class, is this right? Each winner from each weight class gets $1 million.
10 fighters. So that means that at the end, it should be, 10 fighters that'll win, and they all get $1 million grand prize, and they'll be the champion of that division for that season. So they could always come back and defend their crown or try to win another $1 million. So it's an opportunity for a no-name to become a millionaire. I mean, what better place?
What other way to motivate you for this year, and then motivate you to go ahead and come into the next year and try to do the same thing?
That's true.
Before we get out of here, definitely MMA Play 365 betting. Go ahead. We give a couple of tips, couple of picks for the fight matchups for MMA. I'm not going to give up my whole entire fight pick card because I'm betting this for this card for 245. But if you guys want more information, stats, everything, you name it, go ahead and go to MMA Play 365. And they will definitely hook you up with all the analytics and statistics you need, along with everything else. And for you to go ahead and try to make the best picks for this fight card. Go ahead and get some money in your pocket.
Sure.
All right, Danny, I'm glad you was on for this one. Next year we're definitely going to do this again. Start off the new year.
Yeah,
When's the next fight? January what?
January 18th is the fight potentially. That's what they're looking at. Well, it's actually confirmed January. It's Dominic Reyes and John Jones as the main event, and I think co-main event will be Conor McGregor and Cowboy Cerrone.
Oh, so we're definitely going to be tuning in on that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a good one.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a great session for Sports Talk Radio MMA. My co-host, Danny Smooth, Santiago, and me, Roman Raves. We'll see you guys next year. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.